Hello everybody, it's Mafdominus and welcome back to another video where today I'm going to be debunking one of Logan's reasons for why there's filler in SML videos. And as you guys probably already know, but for those of you who don't, filler is basically when scenes are added to a movie, TV show, or in this case YouTube videos that have really no purpose into the plot other than to fill in the runtime. Now this has been a problem for SML for quite a long time if I'm being completely honest, so it's not exactly a brand new phenomenon for SML, but it has gotten worse in this year than all of the other previous years, and that has to do with the fact that Logan is uploading 3 videos a week now, and if he doesn't have enough minutes to fill in an entire 10-minute video, he's going to add extra scenes in order to fill up the runtime. And the obvious reason that he has to make these videos 10 minutes long that Logan won't admit is the fact that it maximizes ad revenue and gets him a lot more money. So that's the basic reason as to why there's filler in SML videos. And it's been something that SML critics have been criticizing for a very long time now, how the filler is unnecessary, it pads out the runtime and ruins the pacing of these videos, but Logan does have an actual reason for why he adds scenes that are considered filler, and that reason is...
And yeah, there's some ideas that have a lot of talking, all that stuff, but I don't think you understand, if you guys watch a movie, there's talking in it. Talking is part of, like, without talking, there's no plot. Yeah,
Unless you want to just spell place in the beginning.
Yeah, so... You know, like...
Now, he doesn't directly say that he's talking about filler, but he's definitely talking about the filler scenes in videos and people that have complained about it. Because in the video Brooklyn Guy Gets Fired, Brooklyn Guy makes the exact same argument when referring to filler scenes.
Could cheer you up. Let's go to Outback!
Well, Karen, that's just gonna be another filler scene. That's exactly the kind of thing they hate me for.
Well, what do you call this right here, right now, Boydie?
Character development. Have they never seen a goddamn movie? Sometimes you have to talk to get the point across. They called me Pumpkin Guy, Karen.
So it's clear to me that Logan thinks that just because characters are talking that it's not filler because they're obviously getting character development. What I think Logan is trying to say is that the dialogue is trying to move the plot forward, basically. Now, it is true that in pretty much every movie, TV show, book, video game ever, they do have dialogue scenes where the characters do talk, so Logan's definitely not wrong about that. Every movie, even in a big action blockbuster like Transformers, always has a scene where the characters are talking. And dialogue is important when it comes to exposition, when you need to explain something to the viewers. Now, obviously, there is a rule that says show, don't tell, where it's better to show things happening rather than have it be explained, but sometimes you do need a bit of exposition in order to explain something that the characters in universe may not understand. So Logan is right to an extent that dialogue is definitely needed in order to move the plot forward, in order to explain something that the characters in the story may not understand. It's always in service for the plot. That's the key word right there, in service of the plot. The problem with Logan's argument, it's the fact that none of the dialogue that the characters say in a lot of these filler scenes are actually in service of the plot. They don't move the plot forward. The plots of these videos just come to a halt. For example, the latest Dougie video is called Dougie's Call of Duty Heist, which you would think would be about Dougie going in to break into GameStop to rob a copy of the latest Call of Duty game, but that doesn't happen. Instead, it's about Marvin and Black Yoshi going in to rob a bank, so fair enough, it's still a heist that involves Call of Duty somehow, but the problem is, we don't get to that heist until 9 minutes into the video. That wouldn't be a problem because obviously the rest of the video is about planning the heist, right? Well, not really. Instead of getting to the point, we just get a bunch of scenes where Brooklyn Guy is talking about how Marvin is going to get a vasectomy. There's this Nintendo animation about a vasectomy. Brooklyn Guy talks about how gross Marvin is, and there's a bunch of more jokes about how gross Marvin is. Scenes that have nothing to do with the actual plot of the video, the actual title of a heist. I understand that the reason Brooklyn Guy is making all these jokes is because it's a comedy video. Obviously, he has to tell the jokes to be funny, but none of it is in service of the plot. They go out for way too long than necessary, and overall, it just has nothing to do with the fact that the video is called a heist. If the video's plot doesn't actually revolve around the heist itself, then the previous scene should be about planning it and, establishing the reason why these characters are committing a heist. And the video does do that. It's just, it takes a long time for it to actually go through any of these scenes because it's filled with a bunch of dialogue and jokes that could be cut from out of the video and the video's plot wouldn't be changed. Now, I know that sounds a bit like hyperbole, but that's exactly what I did. I decided to remove a bunch of scenes in the video that, at least in my opinion, I considered filler. And while the video's plot isn't perfect, the pacing was much better, because not only did I get rid of the scenes that weren't necessary, but it cut out a lot of the gross dialogue, so now the plot was a bit more bearable. Because seriously, I don't need to know in detail about Marvin's bad hygiene. It's gross, okay? I don't want to hear it. So the result is a video that's about 5 minutes long. It basically cuts the runtime in half, and yet everything gets straight to the point. My shorter, no filler version of the video establishes the reason why they need to go on a heist, they plan out the heist, and then they get to the heist. It doesn't fix the fact that the heist still takes place nearly at the end of the video, but at the very least, it gets straight to the point. And judging by the comment section, a lot of people really did appreciate this version of the video. People have actually said that they could get through the video's plot a lot better, because it removed all of the unnecessary dialogue that made the video longer, making the video much quicker and better paced. So, what does this say about Logan's argument? Well, it's not looking very good for him. The problem with Logan's argument is the fact that he's trying to say that dialogue is important, that's why he has filler in the videos, but the problem is dialogue needs to actually serve a purpose within a story. You can't just talk about anything, because otherwise you can just cut it out and the story would stay the same, because it serves no purpose to the story, and that's what people are criticizing Logan's videos for. We're not saying that there shouldn't be any talking scenes, we just want the videos that get straight to the point. We don't want pointless scenes that can easily be taken out. We don't want Brooklyn Guy to go on a random tangent about something that's completely off topic just for the lulz, because it's not really funny, and again, it serves no purpose for the video story whatsoever. So yeah, Logan's argument completely falls apart here, but another thing I wanted to bring up is Logan's other kind of a reason for including filler, or at least what Brooklyn Guy says, which we can also attribute to what Logan thinks, and that's when characters are talking, he considers it character development.
That's just gonna be another filler scene. That's exactly the kind of thing they hate me for.
Well, what do you call this right here, right now, Boydie?
Character development. Have they never seen a goddamn movie? Sometimes you have to talk to get the point across. They called me Pumpkin Guy, Karen.
What?
Yeah, I don't think Logan knows what character development is. It's not when two characters are talking to each other in a scene, it's more about how the character changes throughout the story. For example, if Bob is a jerk at the beginning of the story, then throughout the plot, he learns a few life lessons and changes his perspective, and then by the end of the story, he's a much better person. That's character development. It's how a character develops throughout the story. Simply having a scene where two characters are talking to each other is not developing the character. It might be developing the story, but not the character itself, especially since Logan is not exactly known for advancing his characters and going through arcs where they change as a person. If Logan honestly believes that Brooklyn Guy just talking to another character and going off on a tangent to make a joke is character development, then what is exactly developing about Brooklyn Guy's character? I mean, sure, we might learn something new about him, like in a backstory, but how exactly does this develop him as a character? How does he grow? How does he change? Yeah, suffice to say, Logan doesn't know what character development actually is, and is probably just using some terms that he thinks sound smart in order to justify filler in the SML movies. So, all in all, Logan's argument for justifying the filler scenes is just not very good. He's trying to argue that the filler scenes is justified because dialogue is important to a story, and while that is true to a certain extent, it still has to have a purpose within the story. It needs to serve the characters, it has to actually have a meaning, and if you can easily just take it out, then it doesn't have any purpose within the story whatsoever, and that's what people are criticizing Logan for. It's not about the characters having basic dialogue and talking to each other, it's just the fact that a lot of the dialogue can easily be taken out and nothing would change about the video, so it's all pointless, it's filler. People don't like filler. It's as simple as that. I feel like Logan just doesn't understand what filler is or what character development is, because at the end of the day, he's just trying to fill in the runtime and meet the 10-minute quota. I understand why Logan has to make videos that are like 10 minutes long, because he needs to maximize ad revenue so he can support his family, support his daughter, pay the mortgage, pay his actors, pay for, well, everything you see in the videos to make them the best that they can be. So I understand why Logan has to make these videos 10 minutes long, but you don't need to have filler in them. You don't need characters to go off on random tangents, and if you want to have jokes, well, you can still have jokes that don't necessarily have to involve the video's plot, but they need to be quick, otherwise people are just gonna be there like, when is this joke gonna end? And if a video's idea just ends up being a lot shorter than what you initially thought, don't just fill it in with random scenes. How about you expand on the plot? If you really couldn't come up with that much ideas for a heist video, then you're in a lot of trouble. I mean, it's a heist. There's a lot of things you can do within a heist video, and you just relegated all of that to a Nintendo animation instead of, doing that as part of the video. That would have made the video so much better if the things that happened in the Nintendo animation actually happened as part of the plot, but what do I know? I'm just Mafdominus. If Logan's watching this video and he's taking the criticism to heart, then, good for you. And if he's not watching this video, then, well, at least you guys learned something, right? So, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe, and all that other YouTube stuff, turn on notifications. Be sure to check out the description for links to my Discord, Patreon, Instagram, and DeviantArt. And I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.
Tell me why I'm stuck as a virgin with